Whenever we speak of the genre of horror and anything scary, we tend to find some sort of connection and fun to it, comfort being one of them, which one can say is some sort of oxymoron to the purpose it tries to project. Resident Evil being for me the most comforting franchise of games out there, and better yet, my favorite franchise of video games out there.
Resident Evil.
I always wonder what kind of person I would have been today if Resident Evil wasn't the influential video game series that basically carried my childhood. I always truly wondered what would have happened if I didn't put that disc on my GameCube and press a new game for the very first time. Memories of such days are truly blurry by now, I won't deny it, but the adrenaline and the fear of being caught playing this game at night and the anxiety created by the atmosphere of this remake will always be part of my life. And there it was, the Spencer Mansion, a beautiful, almost gothic feeling with the sound of rain and thunder in the background, candles lit in every hallway with shadows glooming outside. It was like nothing else I ever experienced before, and that was of course before the big reveal. The moment you open that door, hear a bizarre noise coming from the left of this corridor, really was the beginning of true evil. I knew I wasn't supposed to see this, so I turned off the console and went to sleep immediately. For the next few days I was curious and so invested in this game. It had my full attention for so long. I had to come back and continue. I truly had to. Unfortunately, I didn't get to finish the game. I got to play 0 and 4 later and finish both. And a few years afterwards, I returned to the series with a bunch of games, such as Outbreak, Code Veronica, 5, Revelations, and much more. Until of course, they revealed an HD port of the original remake that I anticipated for a very, very long time. And to no surprise, it was exactly how I remember it. Grounded, overwhelming, with no sense of pressure whatsoever. Everything is at your own pacing, with no directions and nothing that will hold your hand. I truly love when games do that. The first time I played the game, I remember I went with Chris Redfield. As a child, you see this cool soldier and think he's your best option here. I really didn't pay attention to the pros and cons those young years, and I'm sure this is one of the reasons I had a harder time back in the day. When I returned to the series, I gave it all with Jill Valentine this time. The Master of Unlocking has more space in her inventory and doesn't rely that much on backtracking, making the adventure a bit more straightforward. Plus, having one of the best side characters of the series, of course.
This mansion is gigantic. We could easily get lost. Let's start from the first floor.
Okay.
Oh! I almost forgot. It's a lockpick. You'd make better use of it.
Thanks. I may need it.
Listen, if something happens, let's meet up in this hall. Got it?
Okay.
I mentioned comfort while speaking of Resident Evil, just like in the title. And to be fair, it's not something you can easily put into words, since it's more of a connection over emotion. The way this game was designed really gives it a feeling that no other has been able to replicate. Survival horrors in general have this meaning to use backtracking a lot, but for me no game makes it feel so rewarding and challenging like this 2002 title. Getting to know the halls, each little detail and history behind them, plus the subtle soundtrack truly immerses you into the experience that Shinji Mikami wanted you to be part of. And cannot forget the safe rooms, the little breather you will get that gives you a sign of hope through this journey, with an iconic soundtrack while using the item box or saving limited progress. It's a phenomenal and unique feeling that will never be topped for me. But of course, let's not forget the horrors that inhabit this place. As you fight your way through this elegant labyrinth of evil, you will encounter some of the most grotesque zombies ever portrayed in video games. One of my favorite details is the fact that they're so strong, which is something has been lost through the years until the remake of Resident Evil 2. Zombies are truly an obstacle that will make your life a living hell, taking up to 2 clips to kill, maybe more, at least for a little while though, because of course, it doesn't stop just there. One of the surprising additions to this remake is the mutation of the zombie, which are terrifying crimson heads, the fast and strong creatures that can only be avoided if you burn a zombie's corpse, completely changing the pace of the game for you. This is when the game truly starts to show its true colors when it comes to survival, and I love it. And yet, it's only the tip of the iceberg. The amount of horrific nightmares in the Arklay Mountains are so many, and it will forever be memorable. A game so rich in content in such a small amount of space is truly impressive. We're talking about a title that was released in 2002 for the GameCube and still is the main one in survival horror next to its sequel in Silent Hill 2. I admire how dedicated this game can be when it tries to build a story about its setting, with so many elements and history in every room of the mansion, which is interesting because the main plot itself is pretty simple and straightforward, with a very B-horror feeling that is very typical of the 90s. It's not complicated, but if you want to appreciate more of it and learn about Umbrella and all the evil shenanigans, then it's at your hand to discover every piece of the puzzle. It's something similar to what I mentioned in my Dark Souls video, which is liberty of the player to learn about the world around them and not being guided in every scenario. It's something that I will always admire about video games because it really helps you appreciate more of the art that these developers crafted with a lot of passion. I made myself the promise to return to Resident Evil every now and then to see how it holds up. And honestly, each time it feels more like home when I return to the Spencer Mansion with the Stars team. I will always be amazed at what Mikami and the team created here and how well it holds up to today's standards in gaming. Seeing how the series had a very low moment recently, and then a redemption arc, makes it even more satisfying to return to the origin of it all, and feeling true comfort. Before ending this video, I want to know what Resident Evil means to you. Was it an influential franchise in your childhood like me? How iconic was it for you growing up? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel, as it motivates me to make more content in the future for all of you. Thank you for watching, and happy Halloween.
Hey, what's going on?
Jill? Is that you, Jill? What happened?
Barry, help me please. The door won't open. Quick!
Stay away from the door, Jill. I'm gonna kick this door down. Hurry! This way!
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.